Hello everyone. I'm going to share something with all of you today, something that's probably going to confuse my friends and family, and may even confuse some of you. It's something that's very personal to me, and something that I've spent a lot of time over the past 15 years mulling over and over in my head. It's my spirituality. So, here goes. I am a Jedi. No, I'm not a little green alien, and no, I don't come from a galaxy far, far away. I don't mean that I'm a role player, and as far as I'm aware, I'm not crazy. Although, as I'm sure the comments will soon reflect, there's probably a lot of people out there that will believe I am. What I mean when I say that I'm a Jedi is that I have adopted Jediism as my own personal spirituality. Now, even if you haven't heard of Jediism being an actual form of spirituality, or even if you have, you may be thinking, wow, that's kind of crazy. And I accept that. In fact, maybe it is a little crazy. Maybe it's as crazy as believing that evil in the world is caused by alien souls inhabiting our spirit, as in Scientology. Maybe it's as crazy as believing that one day the armies of the afterlife will come to wage war for the totality of human souls, as in Christianity. And I know what you're saying, at least those spiritualities aren't based on fictional works. Okay, so putting aside exactly what Scientology may or may not be based on, or the validity of the Christian Bible as proof of anything, there are plenty of small religions and spiritual systems out there that were founded on fiction. Take, for instance, the Church of All Worlds, a pagan religion. It's based almost entirely on Robert Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land. Or the effect that the works of H.P. Lovecraft have had on magical religions, chaos magic especially. There are also religions such as the Otherkin, who were probably influenced by the works of J.R.R. Tolkien. There are other religious philosophies that are based off of single characters, such as Judaism, inspired by the Big Lebowski. Now, I'm not knocking anyone's religion or philosophy. Most religion is a very good thing no matter what you believe, as long as they're founded on love and friendship, rather than hate and violence. If you believe something that makes you feel good, something that comforts you, then that's awesome, and carry on. But why? Why are so many people drawn to believe things, and many such as myself believe things wholeheartedly? Things that are so far out of the mainstream. How do you go from being a Catholic schoolboy to a chaos magician, or from an atheist to a Jedi? If you're going to believe something, why not believe something, well, normal? That isn't really so hard to answer. All of our minds are different, and where normal might work for some, or even many, which by definition makes it normal, it may not work for others. And yes, your mind and psychology play a very important role in how you select and practice spirituality. Some skeptics may even say that your mind and psychology play the only role in spirituality. And that's fine, because for some, science and skepticism is able to fill that void that's left without spiritual practice. And there's nothing wrong with that, and I don't mean to imply that there is. Questioning things and applying the scientific method are just as powerful spiritual tools as prayer and meditation. For some, at least. Along the same lines, atheists also often engage in spiritual-like practices, such as humanists actively engaging in altruism, or just hanging out together in a group. Anti-theists may find the same spiritual significance in the endless debates that they often find themselves in, completely out of principle. Spirituality doesn't have to mean that you believe in a spirit, or a soul, or a god, or a consciousness. It's just something that you believe. Something that you allow yourself to believe strongly, or a cause that you believe strongly in. That's spirituality, and it's extremely important to the human psyche. In fact, it's a basic human need. Have you heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs? It's kind of a pyramid that ranges from the basest human emotions and needs, the psychological needs such as food, oxygen, water, and all the way up to self-actualization like morality and creativity. A basic model for what we as human beings need to survive and be happy. And it's a system that's used in most modern educational systems as well. But many people don't know that its creator, Abraham Maslow, later in his life began doing research into an even higher class of needs, above self-actualization, which he called self-transcendence. That's right, Maslow believed that spirituality had an integral role to play in human need. And he's right. I mentioned before that lack of spirituality, in whatever form it may take, leaves a void. And that's true. I've experienced it, and it's absolutely soul-crushing. No pun intended. Now, I can't speak for everyone, only from my own experience, but I ended up with Jediism because I went looking for it. Not necessarily for Jediism specifically, but for something that resonated with me spiritually. The religion that I was raised in, which Christianity, didn't satisfy my spiritual needs. I explored many others afterwards. Paganism, Buddhism, atheism, the sciences. And just like Christianity, those systems didn't satisfy. I took bits and pieces from everything I studied and put them in that hole, but nothing ever filled the void entirely. It wasn't until I began studying New Age philosophy that trickle of spiritual satisfaction became a rush of refreshment. And through New Age spirituality, I finally found Jediism, and I immediately knew that it was exactly what I had been searching for. Speaking of New Age spirituality, some of you may recognize the style of animation in this video as being kind of familiar. I'm not as good an animator or artist, but I think I've got the sound pretty good. I'm talking, of course, about the YouTube series Spirit Science. This kind of looks like a bad ripoff of that, and for good reason. It totally is. But that doesn't sound very nice, so I'm going to say that this series was inspired by Spirit Science. Now, I know there's a lot of opinion out there about Spirit Science that swing pretty far from the idea that they're genuine about wanting to spread love and light through the world, to they're complete scam artists with nothing but a niche to fill their bank account. I'd like to believe that they're somewhere in the middle, hopefully closer to the former than the latter, but no matter what you believe about Team Spirit, there's no denying that their show is kind of cute. Right? Combine that with the fact that I lack anything near high-end video equipment, and, well, this is what you end up with. Now, after talking about all that, I'd like to make it clear that I'm not going to engage in many of the practices that Spirit Science does. I want everybody to know that when I say something is science, you can rest assured that it is most certainly science reviewed and at least accepted in theory by the scientific community. But I don't want you to take my assurance for granted either. You shouldn't for anyone. If something sounds wrong to you, go and look it up for yourself. That's how you develop spiritually. You research. You look for it yourself. And if you find that I'm wrong, please let me know. I'd be happy to make any corrections that you find. There are certainly some beliefs in my spirituality that are pseudoscientific at best, but I really want to make a clear definition at all times where the line lies between scientific and metaphysic. Science is science and spirit is spirit. And the only thing that falls between those realms is psychology. Huh, look at that. First episode's over already and I didn't even get to talk about anything that Jedi really is. Oh well, we'll be sure to dive right into that next time. See ya.